Stream's running soon, and just check on Discord, make sure everyone's cool here. Open that in my browser. Open that here. Go here. Go here. Copyright free music. All right, I am switching over to us. You ready? All right, and in 3, 2, 1. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another edition of Late Night in TCG, your premier stop, and sometimes your shop also, because that is the thing you can do in the game, to all things Pokemon TCG, and welcome back. Let me be the last person to wish you a happy Halloween. I am Kyle Rios, otherwise known as Koopa in some parts of the internet, here with my friend and co-host on the other side of the country, back at it again. It's Victor Aung. Vic, how you doing, bud?
Hi, I'm doing great. Ready to watch some Pokemon. The last of the non-Paradox Rift tournament this week. So send off to the current 151.
Yeah, it's definitely something to be excited about. I'm very excited to get into a new format. New cards, new things to play with, and I'm sure we'll talk about that throughout today as we get here. But Top Cut is ready, and hang tight. We're gonna swing it over to get to the action to you guys. So just hang tight for just 1 second while we do that. All right, we're joining the game live in progress right now. Looks like we have Poplio King is our streamer for this round. They're going up against Deathy94. So we have Arc Gudra and Architevia. I haven't quite seen in a while. Going up against Miraidon, the tried and true deck that I imagine is going to be in hot demand coming off of a first place victory in Toronto this weekend, Vic.
Yeah, Arcu versus Miraidon. It is. I actually haven't played this matchup ever. Have you?
Not in either of these two capacities. I've played against Gudra. I've played against Arc, Piles. And again, someone that's a little bit newer. I know that Arc Gudra was a thing that people tried making work for like a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, this deck is obviously much more popular in its Lost Box variant, but. I guess you can kind of see how it works here. So, I'm curious what the strategy is going to be here as we take a look at the Arceus turn coming to a start here.
I mean, Path Judge always has a place in the meta, it seems, and I guess this is no exception. Both players starting off the tournament 6-1-1 or better. I believe over on the other side, Petra was 7-1, Poplio 6-1-1. The problem here with this matchup, it seems, is that there's no really good thing you can do. If you go first, you're risking getting turn 1 KO'd, and if you go second, it's still kind of more of the same, where one of your Arc Vs is in potential danger this following turn. So we'll see how if Poplio is able to navigate that at all.
Yeah, and it looks like we're just going to end the turn off here with the Trinity charge. Going to just immediately load up some Metal Energies onto the board here.
Seems like no matter what, Poplio will have a response, will be able to go into that Arc V-Star, will be able to use Trinity Nova next turn to do 180 or 200 or even potentially more if they find a Twist Belt. But things aren't looking great because Petro still is in prime position to take that knockout. Let's see if he's able to get it.
Yeah, definitely in a prime position to do so, like you said, and... I'd imagine the tough part for both of these decks, obviously, like Path Judge is a big thing here. As we see the Escape Rope coming through here, get the Flying Pikachu into the active. So having a pivot to play with, the Force Field Stone is still an option to be used here. I would imagine, if you're Petro here, you want to get the Path to the Peak done at the end of this turn. You're probably going to try to see as many cards as possible to make that happen.
Right.
But depending on what's in that hand right now, we're going to get the Flaffy here. You could potentially see the Force Field Stone get a research. See a fresh 7 cards here as we see that Miraidon is loaded up and ready to go. So, no, looks like we're just going to go straight to the action here with the Photon Blaster to get the knockout on the energized Arceus V here.
This is looking already pretty good for Petra if you're a Miraidon fan. Probably happy with those turns of events. Like you were saying, it would have been nice to maybe get Path to the Peak down to kind of brick your opponent from prevent them from being able to use that Star Birth, but I think you're still plenty happy with how that turn has gone so far, especially considering that I don't see any way for Popplio to take a knockout this turn.
Yeah, no, we're definitely going to at least see... the route doesn't seem to be on this turn. It looks like we're probably going to see Popplio just set up to get, the following turn, established strongly. We see the Goodra coming down, kind of weighing out the options to see what is available. The research looks like it's going to be the card coming out here. Again, not much going on in the hand right now, so you're most likely going to want to, see a fresh 7, kind of set yourself up for next turn, knowing that your opponent, you're banking on them not having a switch card in their hand right now, because of Photon Blaster, you are unable to attack this turn, so, they have a little bit of time to play with here, and, Miraidon it's not always a guaranteed, you're going to be able to get an attack off, depending on how the energy's distributed, so we're going to get a 180 on here, Path to the Peak is down. You're going to start powering up this Goodra here, so we'll see what the follow-up is going to be here for Petro.
I think Popplio was maybe considering using Boss's Orders that turn, but they didn't really have a good hand to follow up on that, so they were almost forced to go for that research instead. And doing 180 to this Miraidon does not feel good by any means, but still, the game isn't over yet. We'll see if Petro can get that one-hit knockout for Raichu, angling for it already.
Yeah, I think if I'm doing the math correctly, I think it's going to need 6 energies. Yeah, with the math, I believe Dynamax Spark is 60.
I believe you're correct. Plus, you have to factor in that V-Guard, of course, so you
would need true, yes.
That extra energy, like you were saying. So I believe 5 would put you at 300 minus the 30, so 6 would be the one-hit KO here, and that does mean this generator might be big.
Wow, get the double. All right.
Double lightning with 5 already in play. That's pretty lucky.
All right, now we're going to see the Forest Field Stone be burned here. What do you think the card of choice is here if you're Petro?
Great question. We already did see a supporter, so I'm kind of interested myself. Oh, it looks like it's going to be the Bravery Charm. It's probably what they grabbed off the Seal Stone, and I think that makes sense, although it's going to be tough to chain Raichu back-to-back knockouts, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely not the easiest thing to do. At least we know. I'm curious how many generators were used so far. I think only 2 were burned at this start so far. I'd have to double check. Once he zooms in on his discard pile, we'll double check here. But definitely gonna have enough for the knockout here. At least saving himself some time. Obviously with that Bravery Charm, not gonna be in any danger of a 2-hit knock. You're still in range for the 2-hit knockout. But now you get yourself out of range of Goodra V-Star doing anything silly to you. So Charizard's gonna go down here. Gonna get the attachment for turn, and immediately gonna try to send up another Arceus here.
No Goodra V-Star in hand yet, which is something that is a little bit concerning, I think, for our Arc player, for Popplio. We might have to see Judge and just hope that you get there.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough ask for sure. Gonna go for the Judge. Still gonna wait over the options here, but makes the most sense. Your hand's not really much going on in your hand right now, so gets the V-Star off the Judge, though. That's huge.
There it is. You're not gonna be able to take a knockout this turn, unfortunately, though. Yet again.
Considering the Nest Dash.
About Nest Dash. I mean, these cards are not super good. Could have considered maybe playing that Crystal Cave down and then Nest Dash, but no, just choosing to go for the standard play of doing 230 and preventing your opponent from doing the amount of damage that they would like to.
Yeah, Gujavi started taking 80 less damage off of your attacks
80.
after using rolling iron, but immediately going to get out of dodge there with the switch card, and also going to heal some damage off in the process. So, love to see it. Going to send up Squawkabilly in the active.
I like this play. Yeah, as I'm not a Miraidon player, so I don't know all the lines or all the options, or I don't think of them as quickly as other Miraidon players might. But looking at what's going on, using that motivate attack to charge up one big Raichu knockout, I think it makes a lot of sense, and I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, that's actually a really smart play right there. Instead of trying to waste resources to, fight your way through the wall of Gudra, just set up. Obviously, you're way up in prizes right now anyway. But having a boss orders in hand does at least help the cause here. Once again, going to go for the Nest Dash. Gets the Iono. Not a bad card to get there, but unfortunately, the supporter for the turn used already. But we will clean up the stock. Rolling Iron will get Papio on the board here with 2 prize cards.
Feels bad for Petro probably that your opponent was at 1 card in hand, top deck's boss. Now gets rid of your one Raichu, your one ability to knock out this Gudra outright. But, the V-Star power is gone, so I think you can go for just a 2-shot here, potentially. Could be an option.
Yep, going to Dynamotor here, most likely attaching. Yep, going to attach to one of your 2 Miraidons there. And the manual attachment coming down from hand, so looks like we're gearing up here. Like I said, just going to try to get that 2-hit knockout, on the V-Star. Because like I said, looking at the board state for Papio here, not much going on here. So if this Gudra goes down, it's all pretty much written just because, obviously it's a 2-prize knockout anyway, so.
Yes. So it looks like Miraidon's going to come in and do 140. This is a problem for multiple reasons, because it is a clean 2-shot, even with that damage debuff. But also, Gudra has no way to knock out this Miraidon EX. The Choice Belt doesn't give you that additional damage on EX Pokemon. So I think it's looking pretty tough. It's looking like it's down to the wire.
All right, the Iono's going to come out. Going to put Petro down to 2 cards here. I guess you can, stall for a turn, switch out into Squovit and just kind of slow your opponent down and, hope that they don't top deck into the boss themselves.
I mean, you can potentially find something like that Nest Stash into Crystal Cave to make the 2-shot not possible, but even then, you're not knocking out this Miraidon, so I don't see a way out really at this much of a prize deficit.
All right, gonna get the Professor's Research off the top deck, so that's huge stuff. Not sure, could have gotten it off the Iono, could have gotten off the top deck. We'll never know, but it's still definitely a real luck of the draw right there.
The situation is looking so good for Petro right now. Basically can do no wrong. Going to go down to 1 prize, set up potentially a knockout on the Bidoof, but you don't even need to go that far because this Gudra is well within range of getting knocked out itself.
Yeah, definitely. Like you said, well within the range of getting knocked out. Without Moisture Star at your ability, definitely it makes taking a Gudra a little bit more streamlined. You don't have to worry. And giving the old thumbs up as well. It's kind of
what's coming.
Yeah. Love one a good old sport here. So.
Lightning Energy already in the discard. Petro's got him in a checkmate position, and it looks like they're gonna play it. They're even gonna boss up the Bidoof.
Bidoof didn't deserve that.
Throw some salt in the wounds. Take the last prize. And Miraidon up 1-0. It's won Toronto. It won this morning's EU late night.
Yeah, dare I say, Miraidon is very Miraidon. Maybe not so mid. They're the hottest take of the weekend, I'm sure. All right, excellent stuff right there. So unfortunately, the board state just kind of falling apart there for Poplio early. I feel like it's like, it happens a lot, especially in these arc piles, where like sometimes your opening is real hot and you get like all the cards you need off the rip, and sometimes you kind of have to like piece it together turn after turn. And that was definitely not an easy go for Poplio at any stage of that game.
Yeah, I don't see, this matchup seems pretty tough because Miraidon always has the pressure. If they get lucky, they can get that turn 1 KO onto a V Pokemon, and then on top of that, you are not really trading favorably into it afterwards anyways because of their bravery charms. You can't really reach those high numbers, maybe the 220 into the 270 numbers, unfortunately. So I don't know what we're going to see here from Poplio, how he's going to turn this one around. But if there's any time to do so, if there's any way that Poplio can win, it'll be when they're going first. And that will be key this time.
Alrighty, so we are getting going here. Curious how this opening hand is going to look here for Poplio. Again, Poplio choosing to go first here. All right, it's going to send Squoven out into the battlefield here. Kind of an awkward hand here to play with. No item card, no search card, no supporter card. This top deck's going to be huge here, and it's a lost vacuum.
Oh, no. There's a saying that says, if you're going first, you have your arc energy, all is right in the world, But this is the opposite. There is no arc. They're just sad.
Yeah, no, you're just a squirrel with some berries to play with, so and a cool nest to stash them in.
Do you think we'll see the turn 1 knockout onto this Goodra? It's possible.
It's definitely
could happen.
It's very possible. Obviously, all you need, the key to start it off is the Miraidon. If you're able to get to the Miraidon, then the rest is the world seems like your oyster with this deck. Being able to set up so quickly. We'll see what the play is here. It's going to go wide with the two Miraidons, the two rats and Raikou. And already let you generate after opening hand too, and the whiff. Wow.
Nope. Energies, sometimes this deck does do that. But thankfully for Petro, not too much pressure yet. Your opponent can't even attack next turn. So I think you're okay with maybe taking a little bit more time than normal.
All right, we have a confirmed hit. And again, that's all you really need is that one. Do you have the switching card? No, you do not.
No
switch
card.
So threatening with the Raikou, but it's going to be stuck on the bench here. We're just going to get the evolution into the V-Star. And the Ultra Ball to maybe just take a look at things. A little bit of price checking, but that rightfully so. Shout outs to PCGG Live stacking the deck for you. So makes price checking all that easier.
It does. Yeah, there's no Melanie in this deck, which means that there's no way to get an attack off next turn. The hand completely dead. Maybe thought about the nest dash for a second, but holds on to the energy instead, and back on over to Petro, who is looking to take potentially a big knockout this turn.
All right, there we go. Just to see the retreat here. Melee into the Raikou. Fleet foot before we see what is going here. We're just going to go straight for the attack. Oh, Ultra Ball potentially. Or Ultra Ball coming out. Most likely going to get the Flaffy on deck here. And there it is.
Petro did discard an Iono, which maybe means that he has something like a research in hand still, or maybe doesn't. I imagine that he doesn't want to play it because he knows his opponent is at one card in hand, but it's kind of dangerous because now that one card is exactly the card that Poplio needs.
Yeah, that's huge stuff. And here we go. We're going to see the Iono come down here for Poplio, so they're going to get a fresh 6 after getting, like you said, having exactly the card you said that they need here. And getting a couple more characters off the backup here. We'd love to see maybe an Arc V-Star here, but Instead, we'll take the rolling iron and go up in the prize trade here, and now set up Hisui and Gudra, to take a couple of hits here.
I think the matchup in general is Miraidon favored, but I think Poplio is in a great position this match, this time around, and for a couple reasons. They were able to take the first knockout, which puts a lot of pressure on the Miraidon player, but in addition to that, they did not have to Starbirth, which does mean that they have access to that Moisture Star, which essentially wastes one of your opponent's turns completely.
Ooh, here we go. Good use of the escape rope there, forcing up the lone Arc V on the bench here.
Escape rope, super good in this situation. That being said, though, still anyone's game. This Moisture Star could come in clutch, or Petro might be able to burn through it thanks to the Raichu V. That could also come up potentially.
All right, Path to the Peak coming down here. Ooh, and gets the stadium bump off the top deck, too. Very nice stuff.
Yeah, something I forgot to mention is that you can't use your Moisture Star if Path is in play. So is going to have access to that option now next turn if they so choose, if it doesn't get hand disrupted. Let's see how Petro responds.
Yeah, gonna hopefully have a switching card to get Miraidon out of the active here. Otherwise, you're looking on the barrel of going down another 2 prize cards.
Yeah, like you mentioned, the text on Miraidon EX, I mean, it's a great attacker. It does 220, but it cannot attack twice in a row unless you have some sort of switching shenanigans. And in this case, we might not have any.
We're Ultra Ball coming out here. Going to establish the second Flaffy for double Dynamotor shenanigans. So getting that energy and easy attacker setup going to be just, even easier here for Petro. But again, it doesn't have a way to get this Miraidon out of the active. It's going to be a tough hand to be looking down here, especially considering you're going to have 2 cards, maybe 3 cards in hand at the end of this turn.
Looks like we are going to have another Photon Blaster come through, do that 140.
There we go.
This does look to be a dangerous... Oh, we got a Boss of Orders as well.
2 cards in hand. One of them is one of the best cards in the game. Excellent stuff right there from Petro. There we go. Now 1 prize card away from advancing on here. Going to get the path bump. Going to go for the 200. Take the thumbs up here.
Interesting that they play the Crystal Cave this turn. It does mean that if it gets bumped here, you're in a pretty bad spot. Miraidon, this version of Miraidon at least, has passed the peak. So if you get counter path, I think that's pretty much wraps because you can't Moisture Star under Path the Peak. But if the Crystal Cave stays, then we're talking about a situation where you can actually heal off enough damage for another Miraidon EX to not take the knockout. So it could be key here. But also, we could also just see enough energy for this Dynamic Spark to just close out the game.
Yeah, looks like that's what we're potentially setting up here too. Gets the generator in hand, whiffs the generator. Yep, but it looks like you're going to be able to get that energy back from the retreat with the second Dynamotor. And I believe that is enough here.
Yeah, it should be.
Yeah, with 5 energies, yeah, there we go. Gets enough here.
All 7 energies, even with that 80 damage reduction. Petro able to close out the game. It was looking a little bit scary if Poplio got that Moisture Star value, but they never did, so... Clean game from the Miraidon, moves on to top 4, and maybe takes down yet another late night. Could be.
All right, stay tuned, folks. We're going to switch right back over to our caster cam, and then we'll talk a little bit about that game that just finished. All right, and it's us again. So, yeah, there's Miraidon once again coming out on top there, Vic. Now, we were both present in Toronto. It was a shame we couldn't run into each other, but big venue. Both, you were busy doing your thing. I was busy getting a headache in round 5 and dropping out. But how was your Toronto? Did you have a good time?
It was all right. I started off the tournament 1-2 due to some unlucky stuff. Ran it back to 5-2. Then was in a win and ID in situation, but then hit Colorless Lugi and I was playing Urshifu, so it's not a good matchup, and I lost, unfortunately. But not bad. Some of my students that I was coaching ended up making day 2 with the same 60, and that I was super proud of them and happy about that.
Love to see that. I love that for you and your students. And yeah, definitely a very fun tournament. It's my first time in Canada ever, so I had a great time. I decided to play Chen Pao on the weekend. Felt like a right call. Unfortunately, ran into a couple of mirrors, ran into a couple of matchups where I kind of that's that's it's a fun one. But we just ran into a couple of rough matchups, and then one headache later. Kind of was not my day. But win some, you lose some. But still had a great time at the tournament. Great tournament to watch as a spectator too. Maridon finally getting the big one. No longer the bridesmaid, finally being the bride. So yeah, congratulations again to JW Creewall, for coming out on top there. It was a really fun, a really fun and a diverse top 8 once again.
It was overall a really fun event, and Maridon proving the haters wrong. Mid Ride-On no longer.
Yeah, now really good Ride-On.
Yeah,
doesn't quite roll off the tongue. doesn't quite roll off the tongue as nicely. But yeah, let's take a look at our top cut bracket here. Taking a look at what we are looking on here. Obviously, we just saw Deathly 94 take over Poplio King. They'll be going up against Ashuka 55, who won 2-0 over Kichi, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So we're gonna see Lost Tina making it in the top 4. That really good deck, and everyone seems to be forgetting about. On the other side of the bracket, we got Ethan Yee down 1 game to Bugga Lover 33, and Arctic losing to Ray Jeff 32 on that bottom bracket. So Gardevoir making it into top 4 as well. So yep. Tip, not a big surprise. Some big hitters, meta decks at the top of the charts right now. And like we mentioned at the top, Vic, we are on the cusp of our next set coming out, Paradox Rift. Mm-hmm. Are you excited? What are some archetypes you're looking forward to seeing? What are some cards you think are going to be really, really good coming up here in this next set?
I am excited, but panicking a little bit because I am going to LAIC and I don't really have a good pulse on the meta yet, which I definitely need to. I think the cards that I'm most interested in seeing, the ones that I think have the most potential, besides, I think Iron Hands can be added to Chen Pao, of course. Everyone's been talking about Iron Hands this, Iron Hands that. So that's probably the main use that Iron Hands will get, but also maybe into Maridon as well. And for brand new archetypes, I think Roaring Moon and Goldango I have my eye on currently.
Yeah, you basically just took the words right out of my mouth. I'm very excited to see how those cards work out. A couple of our pre-release locals have started, maybe getting some of the, I played a couple of games against an Iron Hands EX in real life. I got Ampy very much, and I was quite upset about it. I was like, oh, I just I just lose here. This is not fun. But yeah, that card is definitely going to be a lot of fun to look at, just to see how it pans out. Obviously, in Chen Pao Maridon definitely makes the most sense right now. Yeah. I'm very excited, for Roaring Moon. I think that card's super cool. I think both its attacks are awesome. I like that you can just kind of streamline it. Maybe play with another couple of dark attackers and see where it goes. Some cards, and obviously, Goldango's super cool. He's like one of the coolest Pokemon ever made. I'm excited to see how that deck pans out. But some other cards, I think I'm really excited to see how Iron Valiant shapes up. I think that card's got a lot of potential in maybe like in a Lost Box engine, or maybe I've seen it kind of being tested around with Rapid Strike, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited to see how that card pans out. There's just so many good cards in this set. I feel like there's going to be a lot to, not only just on the surface that people are looking at, but a lot for people to really dig their teeth into once, we get our hands on everything.
Totally. There is so much going on. Iron Valiant, really interesting deck because if you play that Turbo Iron Valiant thing that has been going around with the 12 switch cards and the Urshifu potentially, you either destroy any deck that has low HP guys with the Yoga Loop Rapid Flow combo, or you just absolutely get destroyed by the high HP guys like Urshifu or like no sorry like Mew or Roaring Moon and stuff like that. Definitely a very polarizing but very cool deck that can donk you and take like there's never been a deck in Standard where you get to just take an extra turn on the first turn of the game, right?
That is just insanity, truthfully. Again, just and just like the thought of just like 12 switch cards, it's incredibly funny on its own. So, but yeah, I'm excited. Let us know at home what you're excited about. I know I saw. I still think the Garchomp EX card, is going to be something to look at. It's kind of stinks because it's weak to lightning, and Miraidon is just everywhere right now. So, hopefully someone cooks up something to make that work because Garchomp is he's a cool Pokemon. He's a mascot. I think it's fun to see when Garchomp succeeds. But I don't know. I'm excited, and Godspeed anybody going to LAIC. You're gonna have to be kind of thrown into the brink of it. So that is in 2 weeks exactly. Is that?
Oh God, don't remind me, please. I don't own any of the cards. I don't know what I'm playing. I don't know what is good, but you're right. It's in 2 weeks, unfortunately, for better or for worse. Yeah. So I wouldn't leak what I'm playing if I knew, but I honestly can't even leak if I wanted to. I just have no clue. There's so much stuff going on. The meta will be crazy for sure.
Yeah, it's really incredible. Like I keep looking at these meta shares and just how like close the percentages are for everything still, and I'm just like, oh my goodness, like it's really, it's very, refreshing. I'm curious how you feel as a competitor. Like when there's so many decks that do well like this, like does it make trying to plan for these tournaments like even more of a headache? Like. Truthfully,
it kind of does, and I think it depends from competitor to competitor how they feel about it. For me personally, I feel like I do well making meta calls, playing anti-meta decks, playing anti-meta techs. But when the meta is this wide, you just can't. You just have to play a consistent deck that has good matchups in theory overall. So I think that part I'm not super thrilled about. I am looking forward to a little bit of a change up, even though I'm kind of lost. But it looks like just an update for you all in chat. Looks like we have 2 players moving on to top 4 already that are going to play. Looks like Deathy or Petro, who we just saw, versus Shuka. Unfortunately, I don't think they can stream because Petro is from Peru and Shuka is from Korea. Japan, it looks like. Which makes sense that they're not able to stream. It might be a weird hour for them. Internet might not be that great.
Yeah, I imagine it's like it might be pretty early in the day for them tomorrow already.
Yeah.
Sorry, that side of the world. So we'll see what is going on here. Ray Jeff is from Mexico, so assuming that might be our stream match that we're waiting on here. Just trying to get an update from the chat here, but I'd say let's throw it to a break real quick, and then we will stay tuned with us at home, folks. We'll be right back with some more late night right after this short break. Hey guys, it's us again. Welcome back. I'm still Kyle, that's still Vic, and we're still here. And late night, we apologize about the delay. We were just waiting for our next match to get ready here, and we are going to be streaming that for you guys momentarily. So hang on while we move on over to our viewing arena. And we're back, folks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here at one of our top 4 matches here. It is Bugger Lover 33 going up against Rayjeff 32. It's Guardy, it's Mew, it's 2 second day Pokemon Victor. How are you feeling going into this? Feeling about this one?
Well, I'm just glad we have a match to stream in general, because it does seem like some of our players from around the world, understandably, not able to stream. I know some people play on mobile, which makes it really hard to stream. Some people...
God bless those people, my gosh.
Some people play on not so good internet, which makes it hard to stream, but thanks to Rayjeff for being able to stream this one. It is Guardy versus Mew. And I think this matchup is really interesting. I think it could go either way for sure.
Yeah, this is a matchup I have personally I have a lot of time invested into. I played a lot of Mew since rotation. A lot of my locals right here play Gardevoir, so this is a matchup that I play pretty frequently.
Okay.
And like most of these matchups with Mew, you know, if you're able to get Path to the Peak to stick in the parts of the game where you need it to, you can really do a lot of damage here. Obviously, starting Genesect, not exactly ideal, but being able to get the Battle VIP pass off of a mulligan of all things, too, definitely helps in your case here. And we're going to see the hand get drawn down to 1. We're cramming for a cram, infinite energy. And we're going to hit the heads here. So, assuming we could see another VIP pass added to the hand here if you are a Bugger Lover. But yeah, I think Mew definitely has enough firepower to keep up here. Again, if you're able to get Path to stick where it can stick, disrupt your opponent's hand where, you know, it benefits you, you definitely have more than enough firepower to keep up. And a Gardevoir side, you know, it's again, if they're able to play their game, you're probably just playing into their trap too. So it's definitely I'd say it's a pretty 50-50 matchup.
Okay. We are looking at Fusion Mew, which changes the dynamic a little bit, but maybe not too much, because this Fusion Mew does still have access to that 1 copy of Velocity and that 1 copy of Path to the Peak. So that disruption that you were talking about still definitely in play. And something to keep in mind on the Gardevoir side of things is that they do have access to that Mirage Step, which I think is a pretty good counter to that Lost City if they choose to go that route.
Yes, for sure. You know, you're seeing Mirage Step again. It's kind of funny how that card was like, you know, when Gardevoir first came out, you're seeing people start to play around with it, and then it kind of went by the wayside, but now it's back in again. Right. You know, like how, you know, I guess people are really starting to understand in this how, you know, things continue to move at a breakneck pace. You know, being able to go wide in a lot of these matchups is just more than beneficial for you. And if you're Bugger Lover, you couldn't have asked for a better start, you know, as a Mew player there. So,
that's true.
So you got going wide with your 3 Genesects and your 3 Mews. And we'll see how things work out here for Rayjeff on their first turn.
Kind of feels like it's the opposite case here, where this hand's not so hot, no VIP pass yet. At least you have Supporter for turn, but you do have to put all of these cards to the bottom of your deck, which you're not thrilled about. But we are going to see a retreat into the Mew, potentially Mysterious Tail, potentially holding on to the Iono and Curlio for next turn, but I think with not hitting VIP pass here, I think you almost have to play this Iono.
Yeah, no, 100%. Obviously, you're going to burn the level ball here, get at least a Ralts on the field for your troubles. And then
there's 2 Ralts prize, I think.
Ooh, yeah, that's not good. That's definitely going to be a factor here moving forward. You know, if you're Rayjeff, definitely want to keep that in mind. And there's no Hisuian Heavy Ball in the list, so those Ralts are stuck there until further notice.
I mean, I think it's still okay, because you can, in theory, Mirage Step next turn, but it's not even guaranteed at this point. It's probably going to come down to that worker, unfortunately, if you're able to get that off.
All right, we're going to shuffle up here, get that second Ralts on the field. Gotta think what to do here. Yeah, you don't want to put a big 2-prizer on the field there for Mew to easily gust up and KO here. So Just gonna kind of stay packed here. You know, let's see what Mew's gonna swing into here if they have the tools to do so. You see them loading up with the energy, so you more than assume that they have the Mew VMAX or a way to get the Mew VMAX in hand. And they're gonna also Sparkle coming down here, so we're gonna at least get 2 souped up Mews here. Potentially, it's just gonna make the equation that much easier. You know, once Mew gets to that kind of infinite loop board state where you can just kind of switch in between your attacking Mews. It's for a lot of decks. That definitely can spell game over. Gardevoir's able to revenge KO if the board state allows it. Gonna hit Tails in his Cram here though, but gonna be able to draw 2 cards for their trouble.
Gardevoir going to be behind in this game for sure, but that is normal. Don't panic yet, viewers, if you're a Gardevoir fan. I think you have a couple turns to set this up. You basically, when your opponent goes down to 3 prizes, that's when it's game time. That's when you have to take your back-to-back-to-back knockouts. We'll see if they're able to piece this one together. It will be hard with only 2 Ralts. You basically have to find Mirage Step next turn. That's pretty much a prerequisite to coming back to this game at this point.
And there you go, draws to a fresh 6, gets the Mew VMAX here, so an attack is imminent. In some capacity, whether that's on, baby Mew here or another Pokemon, then that's to be determined. But so we're just gonna see the immediate pivot into the Mew VMAX. You still haven't used all your Genesects yet. Looks like all has been exhausted here. We're gonna swing into the baby Mew, and that's gonna be Bugalover getting on the board first here.
You mentioned earlier, you talked a little bit about how the usage of Mirage Step has come and gone throughout the sets. I talked a little bit to Jake Gearhart about that this past weekend in Toronto. Before he was known as Iron Hands Hater, he is first and foremost a Guardian enthusiast.
That's second in the Twitter bio.
Yeah, Guardian enthusiast, Iron Hands Hater. They actually, they actually go hand in hand. There's a reason.
Dare I say Iron Hand and Iron Hand?
Yeah. Anyways, I asked him about why Mirage Step is so prevalent now, and he thinks part of the reason why is the addition of reversal energy, because the mirror now is very different than it used to be. Without reversal energy, the mirror was kind of all about who got to go first and who got to get their attack off first, who got to start putting on pressure early. But now the mirror is a little bit different thanks to that reversal energy. And so because mirror doesn't require you to take the first knockout, you do have more opportunity to do stuff like Mirage Step. You have more time to do stuff like Mirage Step. Speaking of which, though, unfortunately, no Mirage Step this turn. Worker did not find it, and I think Ray's going to be super sad.
Yeah, Mew's not gonna be able to use that cross fusion strike next turn, but when you have a free pivot and another Mew potentially coming on the pipeline, you're really not losing too much sleep on that. But I do agree with that point of the reversal energies. I think we're seeing that the 2 reversal energies become a little bit more standard in these decks now since Worlds. You're just always kind of waiting again, like you said, the game doesn't need to be decided on that first turn. You do have that option of being able to always find your way to swing back into the matchup here, but unfortunately this hand is just not it right now. You're looking to go down, definitely looking on the barrel going out in the second prize card here. And losing a Ralts here in the process. So you're going to be down to your final Ralts on the board.
The funny part of this memory skip is that your opponent, the Mew VMAX player, Bugalover, did actually use Technoblast last turn, so it basically does nothing.
Yeah. Tough stuff. It is funny when memory skip does actually do something a little bit substantial.
Yeah.
I've seen it happen before. I've had it happen to me before, and it's terrible. But nonetheless, though, we do get the reversal energy on deck here. But again, just a hand of just nothingness right now. Maybe use the Fog Crystal, get another Psychic Energy on tow, and maybe see these next 2 cards you get, grant you any sort of relief that you're looking for.
It pretty much has to be Mirage Step. If you don't Mirage Step this turn, the game is over.
Survey says.
see it.
Oh, we get the level ball here.
Okay.
So
The game is not instantly over. It's not looking good, but it's not over yet. You can get these 3 Kirlias out now, thanks to the power of this reversal energy. Not the intended use for this energy, but it will get you there, and it will keep you in this game.
yeah, shout outs to that one rainbow energy that's empowering this machine right now. So. All right, but here we go. Get the Mirage Shop coming out here. And again, going to get all 3 of the Kirlias down here. So, we're going to, barring some, maybe a Boss's Order Disaster, you're at least going to be thinning out some cards here this next turn, which is huge. So,
yeah, you can draw some cards, maybe even boss up a V and take a knockout that way. The clock is definitely ticking, though. Your opponent, the Mew VMAX player, going to go down to 3 prizes, so you have to take some knockouts really soon, or else you're going to be looking into trying to come back in game 2 and 3 instead.
Yeah, and then Mew's definitely reaching that checkmate board state. If it's not already there, you have the 2 Mews you can switch between. The Silene making an appearance here. Love this card. You flip 2 coins, and for every heads you hit, you're able to put a card from your discard pile back into your deck. So, again, kind of one of those cards that kind of was much more popular in the DTE variant of Mew, the more controlled style variant, but has been seeing a lot more play as of late. And again, just gonna swing with the Max Miracle here. So that's gonna at least again pretty standard stuff right there. Knock out the active, and you don't have to pivot back out for another attack. Everything is still pretty squishy right now for that to work. So 3 rare candies in the hand right now, by the way. So.
That is not what you like to see when you have prized 2 Ralts and 2 of their other 2 are in the discard.
Yeah, tough stuff right here. Again, Greninja going to draw a couple more cards with that Psychic Energy. Gets the Guardy EX on the board here.
Something I'm worried about for Ray here is that you kind of need to play the Guardy EX to be able to take a knockout this turn. But at the same time, Bugga has basically not had to burn any resources. So in theory, this Guardy EX can still get knocked out by something like triple Power Tablet, Cross Fusion Strike, Technoblast Boss on the Mew without the double turbo. That would be kind of concerning, but at this point in the game, you're so behind, you kind of just have to risk it.
Yeah, and this is, again, one of the tough parts here of the match, like you mentioned, Gardevoir Celebrus is going to be knocked out, and it's almost kind of like, maybe, I don't want to say forcing Rayev to swing with Zacian, because Zacian obviously is your closer in this matchup. I feel like you put that in the end of the game to clean up whatever's left on the field. You do have an Ultra Ball here to search out for the Shining Arcana Guardy, so you have plenty of stuff to get rid of here. So definitely going to be able to thin the hand out a little bit. Going to get rid of that one Iono and the Cresselia. So Baby Guardy is going to make an appearance here. We're and it looks like there is, I'd say, more than enough energy in the discard pile to make this work, I believe.
There's 7, so you can take 6 Psychic, so that should be enough to. Well, you're very close to being able to knock out a V. You actually can already knock out a V, but you can't knock out the V Max. Is the problem here.
Definitely gonna need a reversal energy off this draw, but not gonna get it.
So here, I guess the 2 choices are boss up a V, be content with your 2 prizes, or Iono trying to find that reversal energy. It's 50-50, 12 cards in deck, 1 reversal energy left. They're thinking about it.
Looks like that's what they are gonna do here. Get those cards to the bottom of the deck, and so you get here, gets reversal energy.
Okay, and we have a game.
Yeah, great call right there. Like I said, it was a 50-50 shot of it hitting and, came up hitting the rocks there. So we're going to get the reversal energy out here, and we're going to accelerate this energy to the Baby Guardy. 1 energy at a time, obviously.
It was looking so dire for a little bit, but now Not a bad situation at all. You're going to go down to 3 prizes. You could potentially take another 3 as long as your opponent doesn't get that Meloetta going, which could happen still. There's still access to that single prize attacker if they draw the right cards for it, but definitely a much stronger position, and that Mirage set really saving the day, allowing for this comeback.
There you go, doing exactly 300 damage. So the memory skip proving to be effective there.
Yep, the 10 damage does save an energy. Probably not super relevant because they could have just attached another energy, but still pretty cool that it changes the math.
Yeah. Memory skip definitely, carrying its weight there for sure. I love watching the baby Pokemon have the base forms having an impact late in the game. So here we're gonna Ultra Ball out here. This could potentially be Meloetta time coming out.
I don't think we've seen it yet. I don't think we've seen it hit the discard or anything like that. So definitely could come out. Just needs Meloetta plus LSS Sparkle. Your other options this turn could be to disrupt the hand with something like a Judge or a Roxanne. I'm not sure if Bugga plays either. Let me check real quick. No, just an Iono. So you could Iono this turn. You could Pat to the Peak. That's an option as well. Something like combining Pat to the Peak with Iono. There's a couple good options that force your opponent to have a lot of different counters in hand to be able to deal with it all at once.
Yeah, I think we're definitely nearing the Path to the Peak part of the game soon. Obviously, Guardian EX on board. You cut off. Like you said, we do have that other copy of Iono still left in the deck, so definitely could see that be played out here. And no Genesis has been used yet, so you see him just kind of weighing over his choices. Going to go for the Iono first.
Iono kind of makes sense to play that this turn. It does mean, though, that your Meloetta won't be attacking this turn. You're just going to have to go ahead and swing with the Mew VMAX and just hope that your opponent isn't able to get out of this Iono. But if you combine this Iono with Path to the Peak, which could be the grab here off of this Cramomatic, that could be massive.
Who gets head-ons on the Cramomatic?
Ooh. Is Path to the Peak in deck? Could be prize still, but we'll see. Still, though, there will be at least one refinement draw for Ray, no matter what. This deck does play a couple Worker. I'm not sure if he has access to any left in the deck.
I think there was one left in the hand when it was Iono, when the Iono'd it away.
Okay.
They're gonna thin out the hand a little bit more again. Gonna get that. Oh, okay. Yep. Gonna get that second UV max down here again after losing the first one. So Psychic Leave off the table here. But at this point in the game, I think you're mostly just trying to stay up in the prize race. Gonna draw a fresh 3 here. Also didn't mention it when they got craned away before, but Bugga does play a 4 of Pokemon Catcher in this list.
Yeah.
Which is gnarly. But I mean, hey, you're already flipping coins for the partially in this deck anyway. What's a couple more? You know what I mean?
We see an Echoing Horn as well. Bringing out that Manaphy. Probably not too much of an issue. Not too much of an advantage either way. But just burning that card, bringing out something useless makes sense. Catchers are very cool, and it does mean that potentially we might see the game-ending play next turn if Ray isn't able to get a knockout this turn.
Alrighty, so the Path to the Peak does come down here. So it is definitely now or never for Ray Jeff.
See a path bump already. That's pretty good.
Yeah, we'll have to see that. Alright, gotta get rid of the basic energy here. Just kidding. It's gonna be the...
I think it makes more sense. Oh, I guess you don't need to get rid of energy because you can concealed away one and then attach the other. So it makes sense here. And I think with this Ultra Ball, do they have enough energy in the discard to take knockout with Zacian this turn? They might.
It could. Yeah, I think they might actually have it.
7. So they're 1 short, right?
I think they're 1 short, yeah.
Oh. So 8 gets you to 240 plus 60, 300 on that Storm Slash attack. Just 10 short. The memory skip damage not coming through this time around. It was on the wrong Mew, unfortunately.
Rough stuff here, and again, unfortunately, no other way to get like there's no way to get out another Shining Arcana Guardian to potentially maybe top deck another energy.
I guess you can Ultra Ball into Shining Arcana and then hope you hit Zacian
off the Shining, Zacian and energy or something.
Energy, but then you can't discard the one.
Ugh, yeah, it's tough.
Oh. Okay, so I guess you can Super Rod back some Psychics and then hope you hit 2 energies off of Shining Arcana. No, but even then, you don't have enough health on your Shining Arcana to be able to take the knockout, do you? No, you would basically have to hit 2 energies and then attach this one for turn.
Here we go. We're gonna spin the wheel regardless. What are we gonna get here?
No, just
Tough.
still 1 energy short, I think. Okay, well, the game isn't over yet. Your opponent might not be able to get this knockout onto Gardevoir EX. We do know that they play 4 catcher and 2 bosses orders, and we've seen some catchers already go down. So game is not over quite yet, but definitely not where you want to be. You want to be ending the game here and now before your opponent even has a chance to respond.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's see what you're again just gonna load up here and hope for the best. Maybe hopefully your opponent does not have the like I said, because without Meloetta on the field here, it would have taken just 1 damage modifier. So now you said you're gonna have to bank on your opponent getting all of the damage modifiers if they want to win the game on their next turn.
They can get 3 because they don't have the double turbo nerfing their damage right now, if I'm not mistaken. But it's still going to be tough to get those 3, especially given that you're drawing up to 5 instead of 6, like you normally would. Maybe I spoke too soon. Maybe we'll see another fusion Pokemon come down here right now. But 3 modifiers plus Gust ends the game right here and now. Knocking out the active would not end the game, but would potentially stall it for 1 more turn.
All right, there's 1, 2, no
2.
way.
Boss's orders. Okay, catcher did not come through, but double turbo. Only 8 cards left in deck. They're gonna draw up to 5.
What's the emote?
The odds are high if there's 2 tablets left in deck. Ultra Ball. This should guarantee it, unless there's a tablet prize. That's basically the only way.
Well,
at this point.
Just guaranteed.
Genesect draw every single card in the deck. That's the power of this Fusion Strike System engine. And we didn't see tablets burn earlier.
There it is.
They're all still there for just to rub salt in the wounds and going to take a knockout for game.
All the flavor at the bottom of the drink, Victor, as the play comes through here, the quad tablet into the boss's orders, into the knockout on the Guardy EX, and what a barn burner of a game between those two. My goodness.
Really exciting. The Guardy player definitely had a little bit of a slower start. Only 2 Ralts in the deck. Couldn't Mirage Step until that turn 3, unfortunately, but still keeping it close. Just 1 energy away from winning it all.
Yeah, that was tough stuff. And again, especially considering how that game started, like you got 2, half your Ralts are prized. It's considering how well Ray Jeff was able to stabilize there. For the game to come down to the wire like that, kudos to them. That was some tough stuff.
It's kind of the power of this Guardian matchup, and I do think that Mirage Step really good against this Lost City tech that the Mew is playing. Mirage Step makes your game plan of taking back-to-back knockouts so much more consistent, and I think if we do see Ray come back, attempt that reverse sweep, it will be thanks to this Mirage Step. We'll see if it comes through for him in these following games.
We'll see how it shakes down here as we take a look at the other side here. It is a Shuka from Japan that ended up winning on the other side of top 4. So the winner of this will have their sights set on Lost Tina. So
Lost Tina, Miraidon, fallen down, not going to claim victory in this late night. But still, pretty good finish from Miraidon. Number 1 in EU, thanks to In the Hands of Sage and Park. Top 4 here in NA, late night, thanks to Petro. But back to this game, Guardy versus Mew. Mew 1-0 on the set. I believe Guardy, I imagine, will choose to go first here.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
There's some cool builds of Guardy in Paradox Rift that might choose to go second. I've been seeing on YouTube and stuff where you play that Evolutor TM. Still a little bit early though.
Yeah, I was listening to to one of the many Pokemon related podcasts on the internet, and they're saying choosing to go second, and in the next coming format might actually kind of be the wave for certain decks, and that Evolution TM definitely makes it easy for you to understand why. So. All right, but anyway, as we see here, we have a Mew start on our hands here. Getting the hit on the Cram-O-Matic. I wonder what they're going to get if it's turn 1. Oh, well, you look at that. It's 2 Battle VIP passes. Who would have thought?
This is looking pretty good yet again for Bugalover.
Yeah, it's amazing, the complexion of, how your mood as a Mew player must shift when it's just all right, cool, I get to start, at least with 4 Pokemon on the bench. I'm chilling.
Fusion Energy on as well. Yeah, I totally agree. You get to draw so many cards. You get to see so much of your deck. You have so much control over not only how many cards you draw, but a Fusion Strike system into a Forest Seal Zone, into potentially Cram Heads. You have so much control over what you grab from your deck and what you can choose to do with on your turn. Something interesting though is that Meloetta actually going to hit the discard already.
Yeah, that was good.
Committing to that Mew VMAX plan, essentially.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that it's very curious to see that hit the discard pile. But again, Meloetta didn't really have that big endgame splash like we thought they were going to. Bugalover didn't really think twice about getting rid of it off the collapse. So it's okay, I think I'll be okay without this. I think just having the Fusion Strike energy attached to Mew, giving you that you're getting full damage out of your attacks, and you're at least able to. As long as you're able to get that free pivot out too, that helps. But again, kind of looking like a bit of an awkward start here. But again, the typical, starting formation here for the Guardy. As long as you're able to get the Mew on the field and into the active, you always run a chance of running into the Battle VIP pass, unless you don't.
Ooh, that's not good. But you have one more shot at it. You can Iono here.
Yep, the Iono will give you a second lease on life here. See 6 cards, and there you go.
Nice. You have yet another game here, and you have an Iono for next turn, which is definitely a good sign.
Someone that's new to this game, Vic, like myself, when you first read the text on Battle VIP Pass, what's your do you remember what your initial thought was on a card like that can only be used on the first turn of the game?
Yeah, It was interesting my first time seeing it. I actually took a break for a little bit during COVID because I was feeling a little bit burnt out not being able to play in person and whatnot. So I kind of started to come back into the game when Mew VMAX was, just released, and playing Mew VMAX and seeing people complain about it and how fast it's set up thanks to those VIP passes. It was cool for a little bit, and then it got old fast. And I think VIP Pass has overstayed its welcome, has enabled really cool decks, really cool stuff, really cool wide setup boards and decks that require wide setup. But I think I speak for a lot of us when I say that it'll be interesting to see how the format shapes out without it.
Yeah, I'm definitely again even to someone that's much newer to the game than you are. It's one of those things. It's every time that you need it, you don't get it, but every time your opponent needs it, they are instantly able to come out on top and get it. So it's kind of like how Mezzo Goza only works for your opponent, but never for you. So You know,
It does kind of feel like you have, when you set up for game, depending on the deck you play, of course, but some decks, it's like you coin flip to see who goes first. That's obviously a big deal. And then if you win the coin flip, you're like, yes, and you do draw your hand, but that's like another coin flip in and of itself. If whether or not you get to play the game, whether or not you find that VIP pass, because you only play 4 copies, you see, you know, there's only one every 15 cards or so, roughly, right?
Right.
So that's you basically have to coin flip twice to feel really good about your start in a game.
Alrighty, so couldn't ask for a better start there. We get a knockout on our alts there. So let's see what the response is here. Going to promote the Mew here, of course. Going to try to see an item to get our alts on the board because this board stays looking a little tough, but you do have the Iono again to refresh the hand, you know, if need be. So we're going to Fog Crystal to get the Greninja here. Or yeah, we're going to conceal cards with Greninja. And get the level ball, so we can't guarantee a Ralts here on this turn.
I wonder if bringing up the Mew here was the right play, because this does lock you out of Mirage Step this turn, I believe. Unless you Rare Candy to Gardevoir EX, so you can do that. Now you have access to that again if you so choose. Oh, Mirage Step is actually prize, it seems.
Ooh. Yeah, that's tough. Unfortunate stuff, but you know, going to be able to see two fresh cards here. Manaphy most likely going to be the candidate hitting the discard pile here.
I mean, thankfully for Ray, Bugga Lover somehow missed the Mew VMAX, right? So you can just take a 2-prize knockout with Gardevoir EX this turn. I think that might be the route that we go for here.
Yeah, that's definitely huge stuff. You know, again, it is you know, helpful when Mew's able to get the knockout with the you know, with the Psychic Leaf, but at the same time, like you said, you know, this is one of the matchups where Guardy EX is efficient as an attacker as well. You know, 190 able to knock out every you know, any basic V on the board. You're gonna see the Iono come out once again, so it's gonna once again set the hands and put all the good stuff on the bottom.
So here you can get the knockout, but you are putting some damage on your Gardevoir EX, so you don't need quite as many damage mods as we saw last game. It will be not easy though. The deck isn't as thin as it was back then.
Right, yeah. You know, it was definitely a much more efficient way of going about that, you know, at the end of the game when you're able to thin out the entirety of your deck. And now we're going to have to, you know, see what the counter strategy is here. And it's going to be Miracle Force, you know, most likely coming through to end the attack here before. Looks like we're going to play Super Rod, get some friends back in the deck. Bringing Manaphy back simply to maybe discard it again for something else.
Yeah, could be the case.
Here we go. The Miracle Force coming out here. That's going to get, you know, Ray Jeff up on the prize race here.
For the first time in this series, Gardevoir up on the prize trade.
And we get a roll up the prize cards too, so love to see that. Let's see what this next turn has in store here. To see the Forest Sealstone come down.
We do see the Double Turbo and the Mew VMAX already, so that's already, we're off to a good start. There is a good chance for knockout here. You need to do 270, and if you include that Double Turbo into your damage calculations, that means we need 3 damage modifiers. Choice Belt not going to cut it because it's a Gardevoir EX, not a Gardevoir V.
Yeah.
So 3 tablets is what we're looking for.
If this is Gardevoir V this whole time, this is a very different, totally different matchup. That card is,
true.
That's a card, all right. All right, Fuse Race is coming through to see a fresh 5 cards here. And again, one of those things.
Tablet. We also see a Forest Sealstone as well, so we're close. We're really close. Yeah,
especially having a Forest Sealstone here too. You it kind of goes back to like hitting that cram early in the game. Kind of makes you think, like you always have, as a Mew player, like one of the most deflating feelings, or any deck that plays VIP Pass and Sealstone, it's like when you have to burn the Forest Sealstone to get the VIP Pass because you just started so terribly. It's like one of those things where it's like, all right, like now I can actually like use this card in a position where I can, have a little bit more flexibility with it. Do I need the supporter? Do I need the consistent? Do I need the damage modifier? You're really able to make that card, that card sing.
Do we see it? It might come down to this cram. There we go. That should guarantee the knockout here onto this Gardevoir EX. Only possibility is maybe if too many power tablets are prized, but unlikely at this point.
Yeah, that's 2 right there.
Toronto, you played Chen Pao, but if you had to play one of these 2 decks, I assume you would have brought Mew, if anything.
Yeah, it was definitely in my discussion with my play group. I'm just, you know what it is? It's just like the Charizard matchup just feels so god awful. Like it's just so unfun. I gotta give kudos to the strongest soldiers that's continued to make it work with this deck. Like, I know Rowan was one of them for a while. I forget Colin's last name but it's just really long. Colin, another person I become friendly with, like he's just like he just loves Mew, and I'm just like I don't know how you navigate through this minefield of dark Charizards everywhere, because it's just like, oh my god, I don't know if I'd be able to stomach it personally, but I'm just they're simply just built differently than I am. So
I believe also Consta, I think, won Leo with Fusion Mew, which was very impressive in a Charizard infested metagame.
Yeah, I've constantly compared Mew to for all of the movie buffs in the chat right now. I've compared Mew to the Liquid Terminator, where it just refuses to go away. So definitely continuing to show its heavyweight prowess, and there we go. A great showcase of Mewism right there, as we're gonna get to knockout on the Guardi EX. Now that could make things hairy in the end game here, where you maybe need to get the 2 prize knockout to get the game. And that's 3 less power tablets you have to play with. So we'll see how things kind of squeak down here, when we get there. But, being up in the prize race, that's definitely, good stuff here if you're in, Bugger Lover's shoes.
We do see Worker in hand, which is kind of step 1 if you want to take a knockout this turn. You don't necessarily need to take a knockout this turn to win the game. You still have a prize route regardless. But it would be nice to be able to, if you can. Mysterious Tail grabbing Ultra Ball. I believe we're out of Curlias in deck 2, so let's see how Jeff navigates it here. I believe he's going to look for an attack this turn if he can, but not going to be too disappointed if he can't.
I'm going to see what we're thin out here. Looks like it's going to be basic energy hitting the deck here and a level ball.
I think the reason we see, actually, I thought they were out of refinement Curlias, but they're not. So they're going to. So I'm curious why the level ball discard. Maybe just because you're gonna rare candy up this route instead of evolve a refinement Curlia. Does make sense. We are still missing reversal energy to take a knockout on this Mew VMAX, but you could potentially take a knockout onto a Genesect. Well, I guess you can't because Path is in play. So you can't boss and Worker at the same time, unfortunately.
All right, let's see what we got here. Here we go. The Worker going to come down here to bump the Path. So
there's a reversal.
Yeah, that's good stuff here. And you have the Ultra Ball to search out the other Guardi EX.
Yeah. The other one is in deck, right? I believe so.
Yeah, it looked like it was in there, yeah. There she is.
Okay, there we go. So we do have the knockout onto Mew VMAX this turn. And you have boss's orders for next turn. So now it's going to come down basically to Iono. Actually, I think because Pass of the Peak is already down, I guess you just bench the Zacian as well to kind of set up your attacker for next turn as well.
Yeah, I definitely see that being the play here. Here we go. The energy's going to be loaded up here. We're going to do a one damage counter as a time, as we are going to get Rachef on the board here. I want so desperately to someone to like do that to me, like in real life as we play, like just like attach one energy at a time and then put a damage counter on.
That would be very slow.
And there we go, folks. Brainwave gonna score the knockout here, so that is going to put Ray Jeff down to 1 prize card. And like you said, Zacian definitely, like we said, a hit in the bench here. So, the illusion of choice coming out here for Bugga Lover, but looks like we could be seeing the third game here.
I think Iono is definitely going to play a key part into Bugga Lover's game plan if he wants to still come back in this one. You either Iono knock out the Guardian in the active, or you boss up / catcher up this Zacian, and then basically because Reversal Energy is not live anymore, you're hoping that your opponent can't get any extra attachments off of the Shining Arcana. That's also definitely a route that you can take. But I think if you do knock out the Zacian, you are a little bit worried about the Super Rod play. That would just kind of get you back into the Zacian pretty easily. Oh, and we see Escape Rope actually, and I think that makes this even tougher for Bugga Lover here, because this Gardevoir EX is going to survive. Potentially could Shining Arcana into game. Depends on how much Psychic Energy is left in deck.
Yeah, we see 6 down there right now. There's at least 1 in the discard pile. All right, wait over the options here. Future Strike System to see a few more cards. All right, and the fabled 4th Genesect going where people tell you not to go, and that's potentially you don't want to risk putting another soft V Pokemon down, but also it's like, okay, I'm just gonna shovel some cards around, maybe draw a few more cards, really thin out to the bottom of this deck here, make sure you're seeing all your possible outs.
I don't think we've seen the Iono played yet this game, have we? No, okay, here we go.
Nope, there we go.
Answering the question for me on the spot, and I think that Iono is pretty key. It does prevent your opponent from winning the game immediately. There is no checkmate here. Not enough energy in the deck in the discard pile, for a checkmate. So it's going to come down to a couple draws, a couple Shining Arcanas, a refinement, maybe this Iono for 1 even.
Yeah, tough card to get off the top deck there, as we're going to get just thinning out the rest of the cards here.
I guess something to note is Boss's Orders also wins the game, but we did see one just put to the bottom of the deck just a second ago, thanks to the Iono. I don't know if there's the other one in deck right now.
Ooh, but you have the Pokemon Catcher. Big coin flip.
Oh, no.
Ooh. Rough stuff right there with the missed coin flip there. Definitely going to take some of the win out of your sets a little bit. You're maybe hoping to catch your opponent with a surprise.
Would have gotten rid of that Shiny Arcana, which would make it much more difficult for your opponent to hit that Boss's Orders that they're going to be looking for. Maybe could even go for another catcher here, though. We know the Mew deck draws a lot of cards. Maybe they'll see another one.
All right, Ultra Ballin again. They've exhausted all of the Genesects here.
Okay.
They're just going to go for the pass.
Oh, interesting. Is it because they missed the attack? Is it because they Technoblasted last turn?
I'm assuming. I think that's why they had the whiff there. Okay. I guess they did not get the energy. Well, but even then, no, they were fresh back into that that Mew because he switch carded it out into the active. So I don't know. That's curious.
Interesting. We do have this Mew stuck in the active now. It can retreat with the manual attachment if they so choose, but there's no way to get a knockout here unless boss's orders comes through, which it hasn't yet. It hasn't showed up, and there's no abilities left to try and draw it. So I think we might just see a swing here. Collapsed Stadium, though. Maybe Collapsed Stadium. Is there enough energy to take the knockout with Collapsed?
Oh, let's see. There's 3 in the discard before.
It might be 9 now.
I think it might be a 9 now.
retreat.
Yeah. Yeah, looks like could be the play here.
Looks
Yeah,
like
there's
more than enough. Looks like there's 10 energy. All 10 psychic. Going to take a huge knockout. Guardy player going to take a total of 8 prizes this game. Way over what you need to.
Yeah.
Closing it out in style.
Yep, like I said, you want Zacian to be your closer in this matchup. Being able to swing for that big KO here, and we're gonna see a third game between these guys.
Game 3. I kind of like, if I were to choose a side on this matchup, I kind of would rather play the Gardevoir side. I think I like how the Mirage Step lets you come back from even a weird starting board state.
Yeah, no, I love Gardevoir as a spectator. But it's for me, it's just like that on that same level of Lost Box, where it's just like not as many mega micro decisions like on like turn 1 or turn 2 that could like really affect your game in the end, but still the same sort of decision making. Do you and what order, the order in which you do things matters a lot. And again, watching it play at a top level is like, it's like one of my favorite decks to spectate. And I did take it with me to Toronto. I was ready. I thought about it for a total of maybe 14 minutes, not 15, because that would have been far too long. But we definitely thought about it for sure. So, but game 3 on the horizon here between these two. Again, the winner of this is going to have a matchup with Shuka here. So, hopefully we'll see. Not trying to show any bias, but hopefully we can stream the finals match tonight, Vic.
Shuka has been chilling on this other side of the bracket for a while now, just waiting, biding his time, waiting for the winner of this match.
Yeah, maybe in the distortion realm, with Guillotine and everything. So, and again, as people, I feel like Lost Tina is definitely one of those decks that gets it feels the most polarizing sometimes because people don't really know like where to put it, but it constantly shows up in these offline events where it seems to be seemingly absent from a lot of these regionals in person. I don't know if you have a thought on how do you feel about Tina as a concept?
I think it makes sense in certain metas. I am biased towards Lost Box in general, but I think that in this next Paradox Rift format, Tina probably is stronger, and that has been the case in Japan so far, because Lost Box doesn't really have a great answer into Iron Hands or Iron Valiant, whereas Tina does have one kind of built in. I think Tina fell off a little bit after Worlds. It did pretty well. Pramwat getting top 4 with the Tina V-Star deck. But it fell off a little bit because decks started playing Mew EX, like Colorless Lugia, and some Guardy lists are playing Mew EX, which lets you just revenge KO the Tina out of nowhere. But we might see a resurgence in LAIC. That's kind of my expectation as of now.
Yeah, hey, listen, if these other decks get to hang around for forever, why can't Tina?
That's true.
All right, here we go. Once again, a seemingly flawless start here for Bugga Lover. Again, starting Genesect in the active isn't necessarily ideal, but your opponent still has to set up, so it gives you plenty of time to get that Genesect out of harm's way. I see the Choice Belt come down here, so.
The hand here for Ray Jeff, it's a good turn 1 hand, but you have no follow-up play the next turn. So it might come down to maybe they grab Celebration's Mew, and maybe it kind of depends on what they see off of that. Could be a level ball to save them, potentially. could be a VIP pass, which gets Greninja. That could be an option as well. So not the worst hand in the world, but still looking kind of sparse.
Yeah, and that's kind of been like the story for Ray Jeff. These opening hands are just kind of less than ideal. We've seen the Mew opening. The Mew is available, so good to know. We're gonna take a look at what is available. Greninja is there.
Mirage Step is prized again.
Oh man, that's tough stuff.
I think that makes the matchup so much harder than it needs to be, I feel like. Because if you are able to get that Mirage Step, you don't even need it next turn. Even if you get it the turn after, you can still win. But unfortunately, you kind of have to do things the manual way. And speaking of doing things the manual way, VIP Pass will definitely help with that, for sure. Something to note, though, VIP Pass does grab you all 4 of your Ralts. That is good, but your hand completely dead, and I have to imagine this Mew is going to go down next turn.
Yeah, that's tough stuff. You're kind of hoping that you get a top deck here, or maybe you bait your opponent into the illusion of maybe they're sitting on the juice in their hands, and that's or something. Work on your online poker face, and you force your opponent into the Iono, so then they give you everything that you want. We can only also be so lucky, but like you said here, I think we're most likely seeing a demise of this Mew here, and you hope that off the top deck you get something to kind of help relieve the stopgap in your hand right now.
There's a decent top decks that do get you into more cards, to be fair. There's Kirlia, there's Level Ball, there's Iono, Worker, but it's not guaranteed by any means. Lower than 50% chance that this next card unbricks you from this situation. Cram-O-Matic, discarding away Ultra Ball.
Gonna hit Tails though, so. But still having a couple Genesects to use here, so you're worst gonna see 2 more cards.
Yet again, we see Bugalover going for that Mew VMAX game plan, choosing to not even bench the Meloetta, which is curious. It is interesting, because you could potentially weave in a 1 prize attacker in at some point to force your opponent to take 3 turns taking KOs instead of 2 turns, but I mean, last game they had to take 3 turns anyways. They weren't able to get that clean Mew VMAX into Mew VMAX knockout, so maybe this line of play makes sense.
All right, it's Cross Fusion Strike coming through here, copying the Max Miracle, so gonna guarantee to yourself a usable Mew in this next turn. And here we go. Let's see what the top deck is here.
Ooh, what is it? No.
That is tough stuff. Pretty card. Tough card to top deck here, though. So, yeah.
Ray Jeff only plays 2 copies of that boss's orders, and they show up right here, right now, when he wants them the least.
Yeah, so they're going to see the play here, forcing to boss up a Genesect. And, it's kind of hard to even ask for your opponent to not ask what they, to not draw into what they need. Because you have a Force Seal Stone hasn't been used yet. Yeah. So worst case scenario, you don't draw into what you need, or you don't have it in hand already. You just Force Seal Stone to get the switching option, and then all that's moot. And there you go. I'm just gonna assume we had it in hand.
Yeah. And from this position, normally I'd be the one to say, okay, maybe it's not all bad. Maybe you can get Mirage Step next turn, but no, it's in the prizes. You can't do that. Yeah, it's looking pretty grim, especially given that Lost City is going to come down and start to punish these Ralts a little bit.
Yeah, that's rough stuff for sure. So, again, not being able to get those Ralts back is just being able to recycle those Pokemon when you need to. Is just such an important part of this matchup. And unfortunately, you're just kind of running into one of those awkward Gardevoir hands. The Lost City is going to. That knockout's gonna send Ralts to the Lost City. Poor guy.
Will the top deck save him this time? 1 more card. Will it get him there?
No. Swing and a miss.
No. Yeah, I think it's starting to look pretty grim, look pretty dire.
Yeah, kind of seeing akin to like what ended up happening to Demi in Toronto, where you have you're just kind of drawn into nothing, and hopefully you'll be able to right the ship at some point. But again, two VMAX is already set up, stocked up with energy. All Bugger Lover has to do is just play switcheroo with himself, and it's another Ralst that hits the dust here.
Is there any way for Gardevoir to come back? It would have to be a miracle for sure. It'd have to be something like Rare Candy into Shining Arcana, into attach Reversal Energy, into Fine Iono, into Rare Candy, Gardevoir EX, that kind of impossible play. Aside from anything short of a miracle, looks like Mew VMAX is going to move on to the finals.
It's looking likely, Vic, but let's see. Certainly the top deck won't let them down a third time, right?
Surely, yeah.
It's the video game rules, and you have to do something 3 times before the action is fully, fulfilled. So, but here we go. The moment of truth here for Ray Jeff. Will this be the card to free him?
Has to be this turn. No. That's not it.
That is not your card, sir. Unfortunately, I can kind of.
They're just waltzing. They're just marching to their doom.
Yeah, poor guy can hardly see. He doesn't know what's going on. He's yep. It's just gonna try to protect the house. Go get him, man. If he
no teleportation burst.
That would have been pretty baller. That would have been so awesome.
The 10 damage. It would have been optimal teleportation burst, but I think it just doesn't matter. I think either way.
Oh no! Don't do it to them.
Rub salt on the wound.
Oh.
Tails on the catcher.
No, not. Swing and a miss.
The Ralts get to live another day. Oh
no!
Maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon.
Oh,
and the heads finally. Third Ralts going to hit the graveyard. We're swimming in a pile of Ralts corpses right now.
Yeah. 2 in the graveyard. 1 is to be determined where he's at.
Yeah. Banished to the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Well, if the wheels haven't completely come off, this car is certainly smoking on the side of the road right now. The top deck. And then,
Okay, well,
that's going to be all she wrote in that matchup. It's Buggle Ever moving on to finals here. Excellent stuff right there. And, we'll talk more about that match. Let's go back to the comp stream real quick, and we'll talk about what happened here. So hang tight for 2 seconds, folks. Hey, it's us, your commentators. Welcome back as we just finished that top 4 match between Ray, Jeff, and Buggle Lover 33 in what was tragic fashion. He starts so strong with the 4 rolls, and then it's just nothing for 4 straight turns. Tough stuff, Victor. As when you're in those scenarios, because I'm sure this has happened to everybody. It's happened, it happens to the common man like me. I'm sure it happens to, to people like you too. Like when you're just dead drawing for games, for turns like that. Like what is, how do you rebound from that? Like what's your thought process? You just kind of just fall, you just kind of sputter out like that.
Yeah, I think the key is, and it's definitely hard even for me, but the key is to focus on when you played well, if you made the right decisions. I think, in my opinion, it's healthier. It's a better philosophy. It helps you grow if you're proud of your losses where you played well, and not proud and you're ashamed of your wins where you didn't get punished for your mistakes. And I think that's a key philosophy to have. I didn't see any mistakes from Ray. He just got unlucky, and sometimes that's the case.
I'm writing that down. That's good, man. Ooh, I see why you're a coach. That's good. That hit me right here. Like I'm gonna start manifesting that right now.
Okay. Yeah. Lesson number 1 from Coach Victor.
You guys get that one for free. So
True.
But yeah, so I think that might be it for us, as we established earlier. You know, so for the folks at home that don't know how this works, you know, we are at the mercy of our wonderful players who enter late night every night. If they can stream the games to us. Unfortunately, it's not always feasible for everybody, you know, due to the condition in which they play the game, or you know where they're located on the planet. This is one of the biggest tournaments on planet Earth, so you know it's not always as feasible to get this done. So, but you know, I'll get a confirmation on that from our staff chat when we talk about the games tonight, as we can, you know, kind of paint the picture for you of what this finals match could look like. So, you know, Lost Tina versus Mew, it's tough, man. I have someone that's played on this side of the matchup. You know, all your opponent really has to do is just take one, you know, honest to truth knockout, and then Star Requiem, you know, becomes a thing. So I don't. So what do you feel as the Lost Box, you know, person on this side of the matchup?
I actually think it's Mew favored if Tina doesn't play any text for it. If they play Drapion or even Spiritomb against Fusion Mew, I think it becomes Tina favored. But Mew definitely has some tricks up their sleeve of their own. For example, Psychic Leap. If your opponent is never able to get... Sure, you can get one shot off onto the Mew VMAX, but you can't get a second one. So if you can kind of Psychic Leap your damage and keep your Mews healthy, that can be an option. But that being said, you definitely can still win without a Drapion. Definitely still very, very doable. You can do something like Radiant Greninja into Sableye if you play the Water Energy, which Shuka does. You can do something like boss up Genesect and use Lost Impact for a knockout and go and maybe knock out a Meloetta with a Sableye and then knock out a Mew VMAX. That's one potential prize route. So I would say it's Mew favored, but anyone's game, really.
Yeah, I definitely, you know, see the insight from that point. Again, you know, it's the texts from you are just so vicious. And again, even despite all that, Mew's still able to find ways, you know, to play around like we've seen. Obviously, that one copy of Path could be huge there. You know, we saw that Bugalover was opting just to have the Fusion Strike energy out there. He didn't really care whether or not I was attached to a Meloetta or not. So you could very easily see that energy kind of divvied up amongst the Genesects to get by the Sableye. But even then, like, you know, that slows down your game plan a lot because you have to waste your supporter for the turn just so you're able to do what you need to do, and you're only going to be able to get 2 energies out of the time. So, you know, it's a whole lot of moving stuff there. And again, just the presence of the Spiritomb itself. Again, a card that kind of, I feel like, fell out of favor just a little bit, but it's starting to kind of creep back in now that Mew's becoming, you know, that Fusion Mew's become as popular as it is. But again, that's my favorite part of watching the metagame evolve, is that, like, okay, like, this thing is, you know, has been kind of sweeping the nation for a little bit. Then it goes back to just the DTE variant for a little bit, and now you know you have this so now you have this 2-headed monster, and now you have 2 top tier decks with 2-headed monsters. Whether it's, you know, okay, is this Lugia colorless? Is this Lugia Single Strike? Because Single Strike did really well last week, and now we didn't talk about you know, nearly enough. So, you know, again, the ever changing meta, just it's of what's to prepare for is my favorite part as a spectator, as a commentator, getting to watch this stuff. As a competitor for you, I imagine it's, like we said, it's a nightmare. So God bless all of us. So.
Yeah, if you're a Mew enjoyer, it definitely might show up again in LAIC. If it wins the whole thing, even amongst all these new decks, even amongst Roaring Moon staring it down, I wouldn't even be that surprised at this point. This thing never dies.
No, Liquid Terminator, man. This card's gonna have to. We're gonna have to take it out the old-fashioned way with the rules. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Chat just getting final confirmation. We know that Shuka cannot stream. They are playing from Japan, so fair enough. Ping can be pretty high from there, and you don't want to increase your odds of disconnecting in some of these important games. Bugalover going to confirm as well, but I believe they were not able to stream the last time we asked as well.
Yep, just getting final confirmation on that just before we do anything you know, drastic here. Again, we want to keep the stream going for as long as you guys. And again, shout out to everyone that's been that tunes in every Wednesday. Again, the EU portion of the stream happens earlier today with Victor, you know, also. So you know, working a double shift today, so we appreciate you you know, being here. But yeah, I'm just gonna let them know we're just gonna. All right, I'm just gonna. I think we're gonna sign out for tonight. So hopefully finals goes well for both players. And again, I hope you guys enjoyed the streams we were able to get tonight. We're still iron out the the fine stuff here, but we are at least able to get a couple of hype matches in for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, Vic. As always, it's a pleasure to see you and talk to you. So let the people know where they can find you. Is there anything you want to plug?
Yeah, check out Twitter. Thank you, Shuffle Squad, for sponsoring. Oh, we actually see in chat, I think Booga can stream.
Oh, okay.
Do we want to try and wait to see?
Let's see what's going on here. Let's
wait 1 more minute.
Let's give one more minute.
We got the insider knowledge from chat.
Unless. No, we are. Shout out to Jason in the chat, by the way. Hi, Jason. What's going on?
Hello.
Once again, we shout out to everyone that joins us here every week, of course. So again, just getting. Hold on. Someone in chat said he could. I think we're all kind of at a loss for words here. So I don't know if you said we were able to message him before. You said it right.
Yeah, previously they said they couldn't stream, but could be different now. I don't think the game has started yet, so not too sure.
Yeah, we're again waiting final confirmation. All right, let's take a look here. All right. Yeah, just. All right. Bug said they're gonna give it a shot, so we'll see what the. Again, we appreciate the old college try here, so. Hey, well, we'll see how it all pans out. So.
Appreciate the flexibility. Chat says it's pronounced Booga, so let's roll with that. Thank you, chat, for the correction.
Yes, thanks, guys. I only know how to
best out here.
Yeah, I only know how to commentate games. I don't know how to speak proper English, unfortunately. So I can only communicate to you in terms of energy counts and in multiples of 60. And even then, I can't do my math right half the time. So. Definitely miscalculated a Weird Ear V attack today, so hate to see it. And all right, so we have someone popping up in the match VC. We'll see if we can get the stream started. And once it does, we'll pan right over. So there we go, Vic. We might actually get to see the Tina come out on top tonight. There we go. All right, hang tight, folks. We're gonna be right back with our gameplay. So. Hang tight for 2 seconds. All right, folks, we are here. Sorry about that. We're just waiting for the screens to get sorted out there. I did not want to post any sort of, anything. Not trying to post anybody's email address or something. But we're here. We are booting the game up. Oh, looks like Roaring Moon gets the title screen this time around. Good for them.
Pretty neat. I imagine we will see a lot of this guy on the ladder starting tomorrow.
Yeah, what a crazy card, man. Like, I definitely think if that second attack wasn't as good as it is, it would definitely be like less of like a considered like a meta standard and more of like just like a haha funny card. But like,
Yeah,
God, what a card.
it is very neat. It's kind of Miraidon and Raichu in one.
And it's got a cool name.
That's true.
All right, here we go. Just trying to get everything booted up here. Whoa, did we get in the stream within a stream? Whoa, that's crazy.
I think we're switching to just the game stream so we don't accidentally see any sensitive information.
Yeah, no deck list leaking
that.
here. All right, here we go, folks. Finals match coming up here against Booga, going up against Shuka here. Here we go. It's going to be Mew VMAX going up against Lost Tina. Shout out to the Marnie coin. The only thing remaining of Marnie outside of her Crown Zenith playmat. So wherever she may be in someone's binder fodder.
You're not playing Marnie's Pride in your deck?
No, I am not. I can't say I am. Who got the Marnie sleeves out too? Oh my gosh.
Marnie coin, Marnie sleeves. Booga able to go first though, and does have that patented Booga start with the VIP pass.
Yeah, you know, why VIP pass is goated, man. Like I said, if you were able to start with that card, you're definitely shaping out into something strong here. Now, do we see that fabled burn the Forest Heal Stone into the second VIP pass? No, we're just gonna tough it out with these 4 Pokemon on the field right now. So. And granted, pretty good cards I have in the hand right now. You have the VMAX for next turn. Force Heal Stone to guarantee you a second energy, fusion energy attachment. So you're going to be able to get off the ground swinging here.
It makes a lot of sense to hold on to this hand because 3 of those cards you can burn next turn, which does get you some more cards off of that Fusion Strike system. Makes a lot of sense. Now this turn, I'm not sure what Shuka is up to. Might go into that Abyss Seeking, or actually has to play Iono this turn instead of Colress, which is not not ideal at all, but maybe gets them into the game here.
Yeah, gonna get that attachment and retreat out into the Comfy to start that flower selecting process.
Something to note is that Shuka is playing 3 copies of the Water Energy. We see 2 hitting the discard already, but it does mean that Moonlight Shuriken is live in this matchup. It could come into play, could make a difference. We'll have to keep an eye on that if it shows up later on in the game.
All right, here we go.
Though,
yep, gonna Cramomatic and VIP pass. Name a better combination. Probably can't, but Tail's gonna come up here. So short stuff here. Again, you're gonna be able to Ultra Ball away the Switch card and the Vacuum. So that's gonna guarantee you the Mew VMAX. Let's do a quick little looky-loo. See how many cards you have to play with. I think if I counted that correctly, I think 2 catchers might be in the prize cards.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, so definitely something to keep in mind here. But we're going to see a fresh 4 here off the Fusion Strike system. So
Attack is guaranteed no matter what, which is nice from the side of the Mew player.
we're going to burn the tablet here. Interesting.
Just to draw a couple more cards, just to get that set up a little bit more nice.
Get a Ultra Ball for that 3rd Genesect to get on the field here. So see, another 3 cards. So the hits do not stop coming with Mew VMAX ever. I
So
guess
the
the
problem
Pokemon.
here. Oh,
This could be
is
huge.
it going to be heads? It is.
There you go. That's exactly what you needed there. Again, kind of a risky way to get there, and only 2 catchers in the deck. So, the percentage shots chance of that all working out there, a little on the low side.
On
There you go.
tablet that they played early, putting in work, getting the knockout, going down to 4 prizes, and pressuring this Tina so hard.
Yeah, that. Whenever they tell you to take your vitamins, kids, just remember, it makes a huge difference. So.
The problem here for Tina, because they had to play Iono instead of Chorus that first turn, they don't have that many cards in the Lost Zone, so you really have no good attack to follow up this Mew knockout with. Sure, you can get Cram out and do 110 into Mew VMAX, but they're probably just going to respond with Psychic Leap if you do that, so not a great situation to be in.
Yeah, definitely tough stuff for sure. Again, just probably a product of just how rough that hand was to start. That is something that, can tend to happen. I see it happen a lot with these Tina builds. Where, again, you have to kind of compensate so much of your space, for the Tinas that you play that sometimes these opening hands are just a little awkward, to play around.
Yeah, Tina often likes using that Abyss Seeking to kind of accelerate the Lost Zone, kind of add cards to your hand, but that's just something that's not really a great option in this matchup because they can punish your V so easily. Mew VMAX is pretty much the V killer, so.
All right, here we go. Just trying to find a route here. Again, the out to... Okay, just going to bet you a second, Tina. Get the V-Star on the first Tina.
If we see boss's orders into knockout that Giratina V on the bench, and it's guaranteed now, I believe, with that V-Star ability, with that fusion for Sealstone still being live.
Yep, gonna escape rope out, so... Okay, yep, just gonna sack the Sableye here. But yeah, like you said, having that tablet on the field right now, and the Force Sealstone that has not been burned yet, so you basically guarantee yourself the free Gust in boss's orders this turn. Or you try to draw into it, whichever comes first.
Cram to try and save that Force Sealstone for later. Not quite.
Swing and a miss, unfortunately.
But either way, even if you do have to burn this Star Alchemy, your V-Star power for this match, you're in such a great spot, being up 2 to 6 prizes.
Again, so just trying to, burn those options first. I mean, not much going on in your hand either. Lost City, not necessarily a card you want to play in this matchup because it's only going to help aid your opponent in their, in their end game.
Yeah,
Again,
I think Booga agrees with you because they don't even try to use their third Genesect V for 1 card. Just gonna grab the boss's orders right away.
There you go. That's going to guarantee another 2 prize cards here. So the lead continues to extend here for Booga.
The one problem is you are running low on damage mod, so you probably can't take a knockout very easily onto this Giratina V-Star. Still possible, I think, because there's 2 tablets and a belt left, but not very likely, especially with a hand that's as clogged as this one and no V-Star ability remaining. But even if you have to take a 2-shot here, you have plenty of time to do so. So looking really strong from Booga's side of the field right now.
There you go. They get a 13 huge hands on both sides of the field right now.
Yeah.
9 card hand for Booga, a 13 or 14, 12 card hand here for Shuka. So, anything they might need to be able to get this plan off and running, they're at least going to be able to get it going.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the prize map really looks like for Shuka. I think it has to be some sort of Path, Roxanne, Disruption play if you're really going to want to come back into this game. Something to note is that next format, part of the reason Tina seems to be good, even with Paradox Rift introducing so many new powerful cards, is that Tina actually gets to take advantage of one of them. Countercatcher would be really good in this scenario because you could Countercatcher up a Genesect, Path, Roxanne, and now your opponent has to find some way to get the Genesect out of the active. Whereas in the current format, you can't Gust and Hand Disrupt at the same time, is the issue.
Yeah, definitely a card to be on the lookout for sure. Especially, in Lost Box, you're already kind of playing these squishy one prize Pokemon as it is, so you're naturally going to find yourself in the prize race. So something like Countercatcher, like you said, just makes a little bit too much sense here. So, all right, you're going to see the switch into Tina here. Just going to go for the Lost Impact, 280 damage. Mew VMAX, one of the few chosen ones on planet Earth that are able to survive a one hit from that. As if Mew wasn't spoiled enough.
So here, Booga can go for either the knockout if they're able to burn down their hand enough. Unfortunately, no bench space for that Meloetta to be able to activate that Melodious Echo attack, which would get you there. So instead, they might have to just take a 2-hit knockout here instead.
All right, let's see what the hand is here. And again, the only bump to the path you have is the Lost City, and you don't want to. I think last I checked, I think I think Shuko's sitting around. Okay, they have more than enough in a prize card, in the Lost Zone for Star Requiem. So you definitely have to be kind of mindful here of how you navigate this. So you might be up right now, but this is certainly nowhere near over yet for Shuka.
Yeah, you do have to find boss at some point, which can be tough if you get Roxanne and Path again. Here, I think it's best just to damage the Giratina V-Star, prevent your opponent from using that one and forcing them to find a fresh one if they need to.
Alright, switching into the Mew, looks like the Psychic Leap, and then hitting and running. Could potentially be to play here, so we're going to soften up. Well, okay, no, just going to sack the 2 prizer here. But again, smart stuff here, so.
I think the play makes sense. You just kind of have to damage the Giratina V-Star a little bit. That's pretty much all it takes. Now you're just a gust away from winning the game. Before, you kind of needed too many damage mods, but now next turn you can Nest Ball, you can play the Lost City, you can bench one of these fusion Pokemon, and you have one shot to be able to close out this game. Whereas now Shuka is just hoping that your opponent can't get there, and actually is going to be able to play that Roxanne, and the path is still in play, so pretty good spot for Shuka. Actually can take a knockout with the Sableye and potentially can take another 3-prize knockout with that Star Requiem you're talking about.
Yeah, definitely something you have to be mindful of. There you go. Let's just throw the 30 on there and then soften up this other UV max, or maybe just spread the damage around just a little bit. Make sure everybody is within Sableye math in some capacity.
Something to note here is that Shuka's build of Mew Booga's build of Mew does play 4 catchers, and it is really cool, but it does come with sacrifices, right? That's a lot of deck slots to commit to those catchers, and one of those sacrifices is that the list only is currently playing 2 Vacuum. You don't have that many outs to Path. You have the 2 Vacuum, you have the Lost City, you have the Town Store, and we've already seen some of those cards be used. So at this point, we're hoping for a top deck. You need boss's orders to close out this game, and if you don't find it, your opponent might get there first.
All right, just gonna switch out into the potentially considering switching out into the damaged new VMAX. But again, it's just such like a precarious situation, and it's the downside you see sometimes to playing these VMAXs. Giving up half of your prize cards off of one Pokemon is a tough pill to swallow, especially with how how many Oko decks or Oko moves there still are in the current format.
Yeah, I think Bugha is considering that Psychic Leap here to prevent losing to boss's orders, but the problem with that is I think you still lose to bosses regardless if they are able to boss up your lone Mew V. So I'm not sure what the right play is, but there's not that many options, unfortunately.
There you go. No, thinking about nesting somebody.
Oh, and also there's an interesting ruling here for our viewers in the chat. If you're curious, I'm like 98% sure that if all 4 fusion energies are showing on the board like this, you cannot play Alessa Sparkle. But it's being highlighted on TCG Live like you could play it, so I think that's maybe a bug.
Yeah, that's strange. I've actually never seen that before. So
as the resident Mew expert here, Koopa, have you seen that ruling come into effect in your IRL matches?
Not against me personally, and I've never run into it. It's one of those things where like I either like know where my energy is, or like I don't have a Pokemon on the board long enough to where that becomes a factor, and then I just kind of do the math in my head. So whenever I draw to in Elisa's, I was like, okay, I can just sack this. So definitely something to keep in mind here, but. Again, not having this path out definitely kind of frustrating right now. Considering how things started, for Bugha, it's just not looking too hot right now.
I mean, when there's a path, there's a way, I guess.
Looks the path to the
pretty
peak.
Solid, especially given that boss's orders are going to come through, and now you have to find multiple pieces. First, you have to find the path bump, and then you have to find a way to get this Genesect V out of the active and a Mew VMAX and a DTE. Now you're just asking for too much, and I believe Shuka's in a very commanding lead.
Yeah, looking pretty good right now. There you go. That's going to be another Lost Mine coming through here. Take out 2 more prize cards. 1 prize card remaining. Not a Mew VMAX in sight. Oh, unfortunate stuff right there. You have to having to sack the energy you need for the attachment, and there you go. Just gonna scoop the game right there, concede, and that's going to be game 1 going to Shuka. So again, just like not being able to find that out there. So what do you think? Possibly could have gone differently there in the end, Vic.
Maybe I spoke too soon about the Mew versus Giratina matchup. I think. Maybe DTE Mew kind of has more tricks up its sleeve to kind of disrupt your opponent, hit them with Judge after Judge, whereas this Fusion Mew doesn't really have a great out to path. I mean, they play the 2 Vacuum, and they play 1 Lost City and 1 Town Store, but it wasn't enough that game, and it might not be enough this one. It'll come down to if you can get rid of path efficiently and quickly and on time every time it comes down.
All right, let's see here. We're going to see Mew going first here. No surprise. Ooh, that hand would be so gas if you had a Pokemon in it.
Can't complain about 2 VIP pass, of course.
Not once.
No basics does mean a mulligan. We will get a refresh. Will Bugha have... Oh, 2 mulligans, actually.
I love when the game tells you how many mulligans you took, but like I never read it on the first path through. So when I see my opponent draw 5 cards or tells me to draw 5 cards, I'm like, whoa, like what happened? Like
no VIP past the I took it into existence.
That's the commentator's blessing, Vic. If you will it into existence, it will be the top deck. So
true. The hand looking a little bit clunky, though. Not ideal. You get to draw a couple cards. You get to draw 2. Unless you want to Forest Seal some before you draw cards, but I think your hand is good enough where you don't need to.
Right. Nope. Gonna grab that all 4 Seal Stone. And just getting a couple more cards here. Oh. Oh my goodness.
That Cramtail is actually pretty big because now we're looking at just drawing 2 more cards instead of drawing a bunch off of Cram to VIP pass.
Kind of an awkward choice here of what to discard, but it looks like it's going to be Elisa's and the vacuum hitting in the discard here.
I mean, speaking of not playing that many outs to path, 1 vacuum hitting the discard already could matter, and Town Store already being played, and I think Lost City was prized too, so only 1 vacuum left as a path out could be pretty dangerous if you're not able to get set up immediately.
Yeah, that's Dire Straits going for it. And again, just drawing into some stuff you just don't really need right now.
There's 2 cards in particular that Booga really needs to stay in the game, and that's Double Turbo and that's Mew VMAX. And we don't see either of them here. If Path comes down, I mean, sure, Booga can V-Star for the last Path out in their deck, but then if Path comes down again, could get pretty dicey pretty fast.
Yeah, that's the tough. Like, once you know that the Path is coming, but like you've only carry a finite amount of resources on you. It's just one of those like fight against the clock situations. It's like, all right, like I really gotta dig deep here and figure out what we're gonna do.
I don't know if I'm going crazy, but I think I just saw Shuka grab Forest Sealstone off of Town Store. This is a tech that I've thought about, but I never actually thought someone would try and play in Giratina.
Yeah, that's nuts. That's definitely a choice for sure.
I think there are some matchups where it can be good. Like, for example, against the Lost Box matchup, you don't really need to Star Requiem ever. You knock out everything that they can throw at you, and they don't want to attack with Dragonite most of the time anyways. So I can see it. I can see the thought process here, but probably not going to see it this game because you really need the Star Requiem in this matchup.
Yeah, I was going to say this. I'm sure it's one of those matchups where you feel like this is definitely one where you want to just get the instant KO on somebody.
Yeah. I think you kind of have to save it for that at that point. So I think Shuka just Town Storing to thin out the deck a little bit and play a 59 card deck.
All right, there you go. Spit Innocently coming out here, going to soften up that Mew V. So, see what the response is. Gonna Town Store again here. Just kind of thin these items out of the deck. It's gonna be that last Forest Sealstone hitting the deck here.
Thankfully for Booga, no pass of the peak yet this turn, so you do get to play the game for a little bit. I think I would like to see this escape rope come down and then the boss and a tablet as well.
Oh my
god. Boss first. Is that a misplay?
It's possible, or maybe they're just trying to Gus, Oh.
So we see boss first and then escape rope, and I think the order has got to be wrong there, right? Because now your opponent gets to choose what to bring up.
Yeah, that was in some awkward sequencing there. Maybe you're trying to lull your opponent into like playing the the bigger Pokemon off the escape rope, but very clearly Shuka did not seem to fall for that. So.
We could see Catcher knock out Giratina V still, but we also, I think, are eyeing down the potential of Psychic Leap knockout. That's an option as well. Catcher heads, maybe all sins are forgiven. Thank you. I'm going to bring up Giratina V anyways. Okay.
Animal with the V's with the Forest Sealstone on it, so.
I think I'd like to see 1 tablet being played here because it's not like you can LS the Sparkle, so you kind of want to just draw 1 more card, right?
Right.
So I think that makes sense, but 1 Cram Heads could make all the difference. Not quite there yet. So it has Ultra Ball in hand, but no Double Turbo. Going to be digging for it.
Yeah, it's going to be quite the dig, and you only have 1, Genesect left to use here. Ooh, do you dare go for the Ultra Ball and sack a tablet here? Ooh, that's tough.
I think you have to. I mean, I guess you can draw up to 6 and then use your Forest Sealstone instead to save a tablet. But I think the Forest Sealstone is a more important resource than 1 tablet in this point in the game.
Right, just gonna take a look at loot over here. Worth noting, only one cram left in the deck. So
Choice belt already on this Mew VMAX, which means you can just take knockouts and you can hold on to this tablet as long as you find that double turbo, but not quite. We might have to forest Sealstone for it, which means you are very susceptible to Path to the Peak coming down.
There, here we go. Or not. Nope. Yep. You have a hand of exactly 6 cards right now. So
is it bugged? It might. Okay, never mind.
I was gonna say, that would have been nuts.
I don't trust PTCGL for a minute.
Do not blame it.
So the interesting thing about this situation is that this 110 that the Cram did is relevant now, very relevant. Normally, it's not something that it's just kind of like an annoyance from you. It's not really a win condition
Sure.
because you can psychic lead the damage away. But now that the damage has stuck, it basically has become a win condition, because if you can get the lost impact into that Star Requiem, you just win. So we'll see if Shuka can pull that off.
Yeah, it makes the prize mapping just like that much easier. Like you're able to, to knock out at least one of the big guys, and then again, just makes the option select just a little bit more simpler for you. You see a big hand on both sides here as the flower selecting hits the deck here.
Would be pretty massive here, actually. Given that Booga used that Techno Blast, it does mean that this Mew VMAX cannot attack next turn unless you switch it out or you attack with a different one. And he just doesn't have the resources to do that, to convert on that. Unless he draws into it.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough ask right now. But yeah, we'll see what the end result here is.
Archgate is live. That means there's at least 7 cards in the lost one for Shuka, and that I think is indicating that we might see a lost impact knockout this turn. If you happen to combine that with Path, you might not even need to win the game. But if you combine it with Path, that would be almost lights out for this matchup.
All right, here you are, just kind of waiting over right now. It's going to attach the 1 to the Comfy. Looks like the Manual Retreat's coming in here for the Tina V-Star.
There it is, the Path to the Peak that we were talking about just a second ago. We're gonna need a top deck of the lifetime here, or Cram Heads, I think, does potentially get you out of the situation. So it comes down to a 50-50.
Everybody's favorite. All right.
You just want so much if you're the Mew player in this situation. You want to be able to bump this path. You want to be able to get Mew VMAX. You want double turbo energy. You want the... It seems pretty unlikely that you're going to be able to do that. But the first step in all that, the first step to coming back in this game is going to be getting a heads off of this Cram.
Yeah, it's much easier said than done. You have a 50% shot of, your evening being completely ruined. So...
Will we get there?
We got the heads. That's huge stuff.
The heads. Going to grab the very last way to bump Path to the Peak, I have to imagine.
It looked like it for a second. I just kind of only caught a baby glimpse of it.
There's no other one card that gets you out of the situation except vacuuming away the path and hoping you draw into exactly all the things that you need. I missed if Iono's in the deck. I think it's not.
Yeah, I don't think it is either.
Okay, so if Shuka just has Giratina V-Star and Mirage Gate, that'll be enough to win the game on the spot. You might not even need the Giratina V-Star if we whiff the knockout here onto the active Giratina V-Star. which I think 2 tablets are down. I think Belt is down.
Ooh.
I don't know what.
Yeah, I know for we know for a fact that obviously the Belt's gone. We saw a tablet hit the Cramomatic before, so
no hand disruption, not enough damage in the tank to get a knockout either. And I think Shuka is going to win this one, just a Star Requiem away.
yeah, this again the awkward part you're running into here. Like I said, all that Tina really needs here is just like one, honest to Arceus knockout. That's all it really needs here. And Star Requiem just kind of cleans up the rest. Those kind of I'd say a little bit of foreshadowing. We have a new card coming out to set that instantly knocks out your active, and we're ending the night with a Pokemon that can instantly knock out your active Pokemon.
True. I guess the one play that it looks like we're setting up here. Oh, we actually see Fusion Energy come down instead of waiting for the double turbo. I thought we were going to see Psychic Leap from UV Max, but the double turbo can't be attached anymore. So you're, I guess, looking for that Alessa Sparkle. Oh, I guess that's one way you can try and... No, there's no Meloetta either. I'm not sure about this play.
Yeah, like I said, they're just kind of like, drawn into what they think might be the out here, but unfortunately, it seems like they're really getting anywhere with it.
Yeah, hand disruption would be your best option, but without hand disruption, your opponent having 9 cards in hand, I believe access to 2 gates still, your options are looking pretty slim.
All right, cramming away to VIP pass. Let's see what we hit. All right.
We do see the Alessa Sparkle, so we will get an attack of some sort this turn. Could be the Psychic Leap to prevent your opponent from taking 3 prizes in one swing.
I would imagine that's the play that we're looking at here.
Yeah, so the game's not over yet. You do get to set up this Giratina V-Star for a knockout next turn, but if your opponent is able to attack at all, even if they're able to just use Lost Mine or maybe Lost Impact into setting up enough energy for Star Requiem the following turn, that should still spell doom for Booga here.
There you go. Ooh. Again, the retreat coming out into the Mew with Fusion Energy on it. Boy, it'd be an awkward time to energy mix right now.
Energy mix, definitely not the attack of choice. Definitely going to Psychic Leap. Probably interesting that they choose to shuffle it into deck, but going to do so and send up another fresh Mew. And now it's up to Shuka. You do want to attack this turn, but you don't want to burn too many resources. You don't want to get through all of your energy, and I think Shuka knows that. Plays down their Escape Room immediately, and I think is probably going to go for the Lost Mine this turn.
Yeah, that's most likely what the play is going to be here against Wish Under the Kofi. The Flower Selecting, just kind of thinning out a few more cards. There you go. Second V-Star hitting the bench right now.
You've got the double Giratina V-Stars on the bench. Either one is ready to Star Requiem with physical energy to do so.
Ready and willing. So, there you go. The second attachment coming out here. The Iono coming out. It's going to force Shuka down to 3, but could just be 3 cards that he needs, possibly.
Yeah, it's interesting that the Psychic came down onto the Giratina V-Star. I would have expected the Star Requiem to be saved here, and then you just lost mine instead this turn. But nope, not going to be the case. Shuka actually going to go down to 1 prize. And now it's up to Booga to find a knockout here, but there are no path outs left in the deck. And that means no attack.
Yeah, that's tough stuff here. It looks like we're going to try to maybe catch or something into the active and force him to play around it. Okay, this is going to be the regular Giratina V-Star.
1 energy and 1 switch card is all that is needed to close out this game. Does Shuka have it? And there it is, the escape rope going to close it out.
There we go. Yep, like I said, coming out here. Do we just go for it for the heck of it? No, just going to go for the lost impact, the straight 280, and Shuka is going to be your late night champion this week, folks. So, excellent stuff right there from Shuka. And Vic, let's jump on again. So there you go. Congratulations to Shuka, your late night champion. We were able to indeed get that final game in tonight, so we love to see it. So yeah, Vic, your thoughts as Lost Tina again comes out on top here in late night.
Yeah, I spoke a little too soon, I guess, about Mew being favored in the matchup. I think maybe DTE Mew might be if you don't have any text for it. But the Fusion Mew, especially the list that Booga was playing with the catcher, is really cool list, but maybe not so great for this matchup, especially because you don't have enough path outs. You don't play the third vacuum. You don't play a lot of non-path stadiums. So the path just stuck around for a little bit too long. And Shuka going to take the win. The Japanese Tina players just too strong.
Yeah, too strong. And again, like you said, the catchers, while they are cute, they are, disposable via the Cram-O-Matic. You saw that a lot throughout those games where it's just like, okay, got nothing else in your hand, might as well throw it up to chance, see what happens. But it's as cute as it is, as a tech card, and like you said, it does kind of take away from that consistency, losing that third vacuum, losing another path out. Playing those really thin lines of stadiums is always kind of, gives me the willies. I personally wouldn't do it, but hey, they got this far.
I will say I think it's a really good meta call actually, because not a lot of decks are playing that path strategy right now. It just was kind of unfortunate that he ran into it at the end here in the finals, but it did treat him well. He got all the way to the finals, of course, so can't fault him for that. Can't fault him for the deck choices there.
Yeah, kudos to them. So yeah, that's gonna be it for this week's late night. Again, congratulations to Shuka55 for coming out on top. And hey guys, next week the Paradox Rift is wide open. We are entering into the next expansion set of Scarlet and Violet. I am so excited. We got 2 weeks to get Victor as familiar with these cards as humanly possible before he goes to Brazil. So
yes, help me, please.
we are here for the betterment of our teammates here, and but yeah, that's gonna be it for us. So again, Vic, once again, why don't you go ahead and plug where the people can find you?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter at __ITVIC. You can find my Discord there as well if you're interested in coaching or if you have any other casting opportunities. Happy to talk, and thank you again to the Shuffle Squad for not only sponsoring us but putting on this event, of course. And thank you for that.
Yeah, again, you can follow me at Koopa NJ on Twitter. I am half Smash commentator, half Pokemon guy with the Shuffle Squad. And yeah, check us out on YouTube. Check out all the content pieces. I'm sure, we're going to have another, we got a little bit of a slowdown in regionals right now. But again, stay tuned for the content coming out. A lot of deck archetypes coming out. A lot of Paradox Rift stuff is going to be coming out, and you're going to want to be here to see it. So until next time, folks, I hope you guys have yourselves a wonderful evening, and take care.